I came across a story last week. We had talked about it, and I said at the time, I love this story. And I can imagine so many people finding themselves in a similar situation, deciding, well, there's really nothing you can do. OMAR KHOURI is owner of the Wrong Number Bar. He's in North Carolina, and what he did, and he's going to describe this for you, is decide he'd had enough of being called by telemarketers. He's on a do not call list, which apparently was being ignored on a regular basis. And while some of us would get upset or just kind of, write it off, no, he decided to do something about it. So let's find out what he did. Omar, thanks for being here this afternoon.
Yeah, sure.
So tell us what the deal was. You were getting these calls and you decided to do things a little differently. What was your plan?
Starting out, I didn't really have a plan. I just started answering every call I got and played their game, basically, answered their questions, mostly truthfully, without giving out any of my own personal information, just enough to find out who they were and write them a letter and start to demand some money for violating the do not call list laws.
Hold on.
And
hold on. You answered their question. You started off by not saying, how dare you call me, or I'm on a list. You actually played along and answered some of their questions. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
To a point where when you say you found out who they were, they don't generally tell you who they're calling from or what the business is? How does it work?
No, they really don't. They will answer very generic questions. They'll I get the car warranty calls a lot, and they'll say, "Oh, we're calling from your car manufacturer." They don't actually tell you where they're calling from.
Okay.
So normally it takes me about 45 minutes to an hour on the phone with them until they finally tell me who they are.
Oh my gosh!
You spend that long on the phone just to be able to get that information, and do they give it to you willingly, or do they not know they've revealed it? How do you do that?
By the end of the call, I usually ask them something like, let me back up a little bit. They usually ask me for payment information, and I normally say, well, I have an app on my phone, I have an American Express app that's going to pop up with authorization. So what name is going to appear on my credit card statement, or what name is going to appear on the app? And I can usually get them to tell me who they are when that happens.
Genius.
Omar, how did you then translate that into getting money back from these people? How did you even know you could do this?
I kind of fell into it. I didn't actually know at the beginning that I could get money from it. I was just trying to make the call stop. So originally I was just writing a letter to them, hoping to scare them into stop calling me because there was just so many calls. And then I kind of found out after the fact that, well, my state has a lot of really strict anti-telemarketing laws. So then I had the laws kind of backing me up, and it let me collect pretty substantial amounts for a single phone call, just because one phone call can have many violations of the law, which can equal tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay, now we're obviously in a different place. You're in the U.S. when this happened. We're in Canada, but we have a do not call list here as well. So if your ploy was to keep them on as long as you could, just to find out who they were, actually, the idea was then just send them a letter, demanding money once you realized you could do that?
I would find out who they are.
Yeah.
I would look them up on. There's a couple of useful websites out there, but one of them I use is called opencorporates.com or .org, and you can search for any corporate records of any company around the world, and I would find them on there, and then send a letter to whatever office is listed there. And normally I'll get a call back from some, a lawyer or maybe the owner of the company trying to negotiate, and we would come to some sort of settlement agreement. And I would agree not to sue them, and they would agree to pay me some amount of money. Also take me off their list.
Can you give us an idea of what that phone call might have gone like once they actually got your letter and called you back? How does that conversation start?
Usually the first thing that happens is they call me and they say that this never happened, we didn't call you, and you got the wrong people, something along those lines. And I normally record those calls because I'm allowed to in my state. So I respond with, hey, here's a recording of the phone call, and that normally changes the story. It's like, oh, okay, well, apparently we did call you, and how do we make this go away?
Okay, so I guess what I want to know here is, so you get a settlement, and you said it was a surprisingly large amount, so you get several settlements. You'll have to tell us how many, Omar, but was it always a dream of yours to open a bar? And so you're like, hey, I'm onto something. This money could add up to me being able to make my dream come true.
No, I kind of fell into it. since 2006, I've been running an IT company, and that was my thing. Like I do IT stuff, and when I would get the settlement checks, and it started adding up. Originally, I would just use the money for, helping a friend or helping my family with something or donating it somewhere, just trying to use it to, for a common good. Mm-hmm. And a few months ago, there was a bar in my town that just came up for sale because the owner wanted to retire from the bar business. So it just seemed like an opportunity, something that might be fun to do. And I have friends in the service industry, friends in the bar industry, and it just seemed like something might be fun to do as a way to kind of give back to my community anyway.
Oh, fantastic.
In terms of helping with creating jobs or just, whatever.
I want to point out at this point, this idea of the bar, how much money did this take to do? Because you got all this from people who actually made settlements with you. How much money are we talking about?
I can't say an exact amount because I just haven't counted in a while. But I've probably spent a little less than $200,000 on buying this bar and refitting it and refurbishing it. So the majority of that came from the telemarketing money, and some of it just came from my own job.
So I'm going to just pick a round number. Say you're talking at least, from what I can figure, over $100,000 in settlement money that you got to use for this.
More.
Yep, I think last time I counted, there's around $120,000 from settlement money for telemarketers.
That's
fantastic.
Insane.
And then you call the bar the wrong number. Do the people coming to the bar, Omar, know the story behind it? Such a great name.
Well, they will. We haven't opened yet. I literally made this deal a week ago. Like, we closed on the bar deal a week ago today. So we're planning on opening at the middle, probably about this time next month.
Oh, fabulous. Congratulations.
But definitely plan on telling everyone the story, and, even maybe having a couple days out of the month where I kind of sit there and tell people, here's how to do this. Here's how to get these guys to stop calling you. My goal was never to make money off it. My goal was to get these calls to stop, and the money was just kind of a side effect.
So to mention, because it's important, again, we're in Canada, you're in the U.S., the laws are different here. I'm not sure you could pull this off here, but even in the U.S., your state, you were in North Carolina where you could take advantage of this, but every state has different rules on this?
As far as I know, every state has rules. There's a federal law, and that federal law is applies to every state. And then some states have their own individual state laws. And I actually have a friend up in Alberta, and I've talked to about this, and I helped her find some of the local laws in Alberta, and I think that the provinces up there do have their own laws about this sort of thing, but I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's ever done it, though, at least gone to this extreme. I mean, you've collected a pile of money. I mean, this is going to be good news for some people who are bothered by these calls every single day.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It's very tedious. You have to sit there on the phone for usually at least 45 minutes to an hour just to find out who they are, and then you have to write these letters and go back and forth. And normally I write a demand letter and I say, hey, I want, one, I want these calls to stop, and two, I want this money. And my goal originally was if I make it too expensive to call me, they'll stop calling me, which tends to work for a little while.
Okay, so have they stopped calling you? Are you still getting any calls from telemarketers, Omar?
Oh, I am. I've actually gotten calls from people I've already settled with.
No way.
And sometimes,
funny.
Oh yeah, and I skip the whole letter of the thing when that happens. I called the owner of the company back or whatever lawyer I'd negotiated with before and say, hey, you guys called me again.
Oh my God.
We just went through this a few months ago. How about we settle for the same amount? Jeez. And a couple of times they've actually asked me for a discount, like a frequent flyer discount.
An equal opportunity offender. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Can I ask? We got to wrap it up because we're out of time. What is there such a thing as the average settlement? Like, how much typically do you get per call?
I think the average has probably been about $10,000.
Holy moly. I love that your persistence paid off. Holy moly.
Good for you. Hey, Omar, listen, congratulations. I think a lot of people probably identify with you. Nobody likes getting these calls. And nice job on taking them for as much money as you can and turning it into something useful that's going to actually help your community. Thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thanks.
Wow. Great story.